There is one question. A woman might ask you not out of curiosity, but to test who you are. A question that seems innocent, yet holds the power to expose your weakness, your fear, and your need for validation. If you answer it wrong, you lose respect. If you handle it with wisdom, you gain quiet strength. Today, we will talk about the one question you must never answer, and the Stoic truth behind it. Because a wise man does not rush to speak. He observes, understands, and then chooses silence. Intro. Welcome back to Stoic Insight, where we uncover the hidden lessons of human nature through the calm eyes of ancient philosophy. In this video, we will explore the psychology behind the trap question many women ask, why answering it weakens your masculine frame, and how a Stoic man responds, not with arrogance, but with peace and presence. So sit back, breathe slowly, and let's begin. Part 1. The question that tests you. Somewhere in every man's life, a woman will look at him and ask something like, "Do you love me more than I love you? Where is this relationship going? Why don't you open up more? What do you like about me?" On the surface, these questions sound sweet, like an invitation to connect. But beneath the words lies something deeper, a test of your emotional grounding. Women, by nature, seek to feel safe, not just physically, but emotionally. When she asks you such a question, she is not looking for a poetic answer. She's watching how certain you are in yourself. Transition. In Stoicism, Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The same truth applies here. When a woman asks a question designed to measure your emotion, she's not testing your honesty. She's testing your control. Part 2. Why you should never answer directly. A Stoic man does not play emotional games, but he understands the terrain. When you answer these questions too quickly, when you start explaining, justifying, or proving your feelings, you unconsciously give away your power. You shift from being the calm observer to being the performer. She leads the question, you follow it, and in that moment, you lose polarity. Example sen. Imagine this. You're sitting with a woman you deeply care for. She looks at you softly and asks, "Do you really love me?" You feel the pull, the urge to reassure her. You want to say, "Of course I do." But a Stoic man pauses. He doesn't rush to defend what is already known. He knows that love is proven in presence, not in words. He smiles gently and says, "You already know the answer to that." That single line carries power. It tells her you are certain, calm, and not emotionally shaken by validation. And that, ironically, makes her feel safer than any romantic speech ever could. Transition. When you answer too eagerly, you teach her that you need her approval. When you answer calmly, you show that you are already whole. Part 3. The psychology behind the question. Let's step into psychology for a moment. A woman's emotional world is complex, not chaotic, but fluid. She seeks to understand not just what you feel, but how deeply you feel it. When she asks emotional questions, it's often not about logic. It's about sensing your energy. Psychologists call this emotional attunement. It's her way of feeling your emotional temperature. Are you anxious, grounded, confident, or dependent? When you rush to answer, "Yes, I love you more. Of course I miss you," you're reacting from emotion, not presence. But the Stoic man responds from stillness. He's not cold. He's composed. He feels deeply, but he does not get lost in the feeling. Stoic lesson. Epictetus taught, It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. The same applies to questions that challenge your emotional balance. Your response reveals whether you control your mind or your mind controls you. Part 4. The trap of over-explanation. In today's age, men are taught to overshare, to explain their emotions in detail to prove sincerity. But in truth, excess explanation is weakness disguised as honesty. The more you explain your worth, the less it feels like worth. A Stoic man does not hide his emotions. He simply knows when and how much to express. He chooses words as carefully as a swordsman chooses his strikes. He doesn't say, "I can't live without you." He says, "I enjoy being with you." That difference, subtle yet powerful, separates attachment from connection. Story. There's an old story about a Roman general who was deeply in love with his wife. Before leaving for battle, she asked him, "Will you think of me every day while you're away?" He smiled and said, "I will think of my duty, and through that I will honour you." At first she was puzzled, but later, when he returned victorious, disciplined, loyal, and unshaken, she understood. His love was not spoken in words, but proven in character. That is the Stoic man's way. His silence is not emptiness, it is depth. Transition. When a woman feels this kind of presence, she no longer needs reassurance. She feels secure, not because of your words, but because of your energy. Part 5. The power of mystery. In every attraction, there must remain a little mystery. Not deceit, not games, but quiet unpredictability. When a woman can predict every thought you have, the fire fades. But when you remain slightly unreadable, not as a strategy but as authenticity, she stays intrigued. A Stoic man is like the ocean, calm on the surface, yet impossible to measure in depth. You don't reveal every emotion the moment it's felt. You let silence speak. You let her wonder, not because you are manipulative, but because you are secure in yourself. Psychology note. In behavioral psychology, this is known as maintaining polarity. Healthy tension keeps attraction alive. Too much emotional exposure too soon dissolves that tension. Mystery is not about hiding, it's about allowing space for discovery. And that space is sacred. Part 6. The Stoic response formula. When a woman asks an emotional question, remember 3 principles. Pause before responding. Silence is not ignorance, it's composure. Answer with grounded presence. Keep your tone slow, eyes calm, words minimal. Reflect the question. Don't chase it. If she asks, "Why don't you say you love me?" you can say, "I show it in how I treat you." Words are easy. Actions are truth. This kind of answer demonstrates emotional leadership. The very thing a feminine heart subconsciously craves. Transition. Remember, a man who cannot stay calm when tested will always live at the mercy of other people's moods. Part 7. The ancient Stoic parallel. In Stoic philosophy, emotion was never seen as weakness. The Stoics felt deeply. They simply refused to be owned by their feelings. Seneca once wrote, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself." When a woman questions your emotions, it is a kind of adversity, a moment to prove your steadiness, not your passion. You don't need to pass her test. You only need to remain grounded within yourself. That's what builds quiet respect, the kind that lasts longer than infatuation. Story. 1900 to 2100. A man once told the Stoic teacher Ausonius Rufus, "My wife constantly asks if I still find her beautiful. What should I say?" Musonius replied, "Say, nothing. Instead, look at her as if you do. The eyes will speak louder than words. This is timeless wisdom. When your presence speaks for you, your words become unnecessary. Part 8. The modern application. Today's world rewards quick replies, emotional oversharing, and constant validation. But the Stoic man must walk against that current. He remains calm even when the world demands reaction. He chooses understanding over argument, patience over panic, and silence over noise. When a woman asks you something emotionally charged, remember, her question is a mirror, not a weapon. It reflects your state of being. If you are calm, she will relax. If you are anxious, she will mirror that anxiety. Practical, Stoic exercise, 2200 to 2330. Try this. The next time someone, a woman, a friend, or anyone, asks a question that makes you feel pressured, pause, take a slow breath in, feel your feet on the ground, and then, instead of rushing to answer, ask yourself, is my response coming from peace or from fear? Only speak when your answer comes from peace. That is Stoic composure, the art of responding, not reacting. Part 9. The balance between silence and warmth. Now, let's be clear. Stoicism does not mean emotional coldness. It means emotional mastery. A Stoic man can be tender, loving, and deeply connected, but his emotions flow through discipline, not through impulse. He listens more than he speaks. He loves without losing himself. He expresses without explaining, and because of this, his presence becomes magnetic. Women feel drawn to his steadiness, the calm confidence that says, I am here. I do not need to prove it. Stoic reflection. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. In relationships, that means you do not demand perfection, but you maintain your own standard of emotional strength. You don't seek to win arguments or prove affection through words. You simply live your truth, and let time reveal your depth. Part 10. The final truth. So, what is the question you should never answer? It's any question that tries to measure your feelings or make you prove your worth. Because love that must be proven every moment was never secure to begin with. A Stoic man does not speak love. He embodies it. He does not promise forever. He lives one honourable day at a time. And when a woman senses this quiet certainty, she feels what words can never express. Conclusion. Never answer emotional tests with explanations. Respond with presence, patience, and purpose. Because the world may ask you to react, but the Stoic man chooses peace. He knows his value, his path, and his silence. Remember, the loudest man in the room is often the weakest, but the calm one, the one who doesn't rush to prove himself, he is the one everyone eventually respects. Call to action. If this message spoke to you, then take a moment to breathe deeply and carry this calm into your next conversation. Like, share, and subscribe to Modern Grit for more timeless lessons on self-mastery, masculine energy, and inner peace. And remember, speak less, observe more, and never let anyone control your peace of mind.